Hi everyone, it's Vince Aguirre with the Small Business Squad. We're kicking back off our podcast series. Today I have Britt Overshiner, the owner of Britt's Blooming Boutique in Greencastle, Indiana. I'm really excited to get going, and we'll see how this in-person podcast goes. So the Small Business Squad podcast is brought to you by Distinct. At Distinct, for the last 10 years, we've offered unlimited website design and support services to our clients. And this year we're branching out and offering support for other back-end operations. So whether it is bookkeeping or keeping track of inventory, email management, calendar management, if you are spending time as a small business owner doing something that isn't driving revenue or isn't your passion, we're happy to offer support packages. So reach out to Distinct at becomedistinct.com or at 765-400-0510. So Brittany.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I really want this to be an opportunity for business owners to kind of share what inspires them, what worries them, how they work in their business, really the whole spectrum. But to do that, I think we need to know more about you and kind of lead us into your life up until the point of your doors opening.
Ooh, that's such a good first start. If you haven't heard my story, it's kind of crazy. My mom actually used to own a business on the square, actually where Blushing Bows is.
Okay.
And she always wanted me to do a boutique with her. She did like wedding dresses and dry cleaning and stuff. And we always talked about starting a business together. Yeah. My mom got really ill. She had cancer, and I always just brushed it off. Like, in the real world, I'm working, I have kids, like I don't have time. I always made excuses. Yeah. So about 5 years ago, my mom ended up passing away from cancer. And about a week before my mom passed away, we had a pretty intense conversation of just life in general. And at that point, I didn't know my mom was sick, like as sick as what she was. Right. And we had a pretty serious conversation about what I wanted out of life. And I feel like the older that you get, you start really like looking at your life and questioning and thinking about the things that you want. And that kind of was a big eye-opener for me. I've always worked for everyone else, but I've always done like side hustles on the side. Yeah. I did a lot of like direct sales and stuff like that. So when I was talking to my mom, I was like, it's not a good time. It's not a good time. And then when my mom passed away, it just made me really start to think life is short. I've said it for, 20 plus years, like, I don't have time. It's not the right time. It's not, It's not something that I was ready to do. So after mom passed away, I felt like after I went through a pretty rough patch, my mom she was my best friend. We were very close. And she was my inspiration. She was such a hard worker. Growing up, she worked nights, so it was kind of like, she did a lot for us. Yeah. And as a kid, I think you don't appreciate those kind of things. So being a mom now, I appreciate them a lot more. So when I kind of got my bearings together, I'm like, that conversation happened for a reason. Yeah. And it made me really start to think like, this is something I could do. So I started in our front room. Yep. Our front room was really small. I started with one little rack of clothing, and I did Facebook Lives. And then one rack became 2 racks. And then my boyfriend Jacob was like, okay, you're taking over the front room. There's stuff in the back room. I was doing lives in the kitchen because we didn't have room in the front room. So we ended up getting a little Amish built cabin. Yeah. We put it on our property and started doing live sales out of there. Well, then it was people were wanting to come and shop. They wanted like the store experience. So we quickly outgrew that. We had that for maybe 4 or 5 months. And then we ended up going to a 16 by 40 Amish built cabin. Okay. It was really nice because there was a lot more space. And we started out there, COVID hit. And that's pretty much when like a lot of stores were closed and there wasn't a lot of options for shopping or trying things on. Yeah. So whenever we did our storefront at the property, it became very transparent that this is what I wanted to do. I was still working full time. Yeah. That was really hard. Yeah. We talk about that sacrifice and dedication that you have to have. I think any entrepreneur understands it. If you've never owned a business, I don't think that you'll understand it, because it's like when you're an entrepreneur, you work every second of every day. Like first thing in the morning, I'm on my phone, somebody's texting me, you know. So when we did the storefront at the house, it was very natural, and it just felt like this is what I was made to do. And I'm very passionate about helping women and just being comfortable in your own skin. I've been a lot of different weights on the scale and a lot of sizes and shapes, and having kids, your body changes, and the older you get, it gets even worse. So that was something that I was super passionate about in the beginning, is just the experience. I've been to so many boutiques where I've walked in with a group of people and not been able to wear anything in there because they only carried, you know, small to large. So that was something that I think for me was something I was passionate about, and I think it started to show. So we grew really fast. We had that building for a couple years. And then it's really funny because Mike Richmond, I was doing events too at this point. Another business had went out of business, and I bought their trailer. And was like, this is crazy, you know, and just started doing events, trying to make my life a little bit easier. I did First Fridays all the time, and I just love the atmosphere of the downtown square. I love First Fridays. I love the live music, the kids running around, and for me it was just comforting. So vendor events is kind of like one of my favorite things, and you get to meet new people.
Absolutely.
So I met Mike, and he was like, hey, there's a little storefront coming open, and I think that you should really look into it. I see, like, every time I walk by, you know, you have groups of people at your trailer. Like, I just feel like this is something that would be a good connection. I'm like, okay. And that's when we moved next to the senior center. So we were there for a short time, September to February. The space was pretty small. It was under 500 square feet. We outgrew it very fast. I was so scared, though. It was one of those things where it's like jumping into a business is the most terrifying thing that you can do. And I was still working full time at this point. So I'm like trying to like do the whole balancing thing, plus my kids, plus home, you know, laundry, all that stuff. It was a little stressful. And when we got in the storefront, I'm like, this is me. This is where I wanted to be. So in January-ish, we got information that there was another storefront that had been sitting empty for a little while, next to Moore's Bar. That's the Tinser building, and contacted them and went and looked at it, and I fell in love. I knew that the funny thing is, during COVID, there used to be a boutique in there, and they shut down. And I remember driving by. I was with my boyfriend, and my kids were in the back, and we were driving down that little street, South Indiana Street. And I was like, that's what I picture. When I picture a storefront, I want big windows and the doors. And I was like, it's beautiful. Like our downtown has so much beauty in it.
It does.
And for me, that's something that I'm really passionate about too, is like, you know, just the community and the atmosphere. And so I guess I spoke it into existence, you know, because when I was looking, it was really funny when we went and looked at it. She was showing me, and I walked in, and I just got this like relief, I guess, because, you know, the business part of it is so stressful. But I just walked in, and I fell in love. The building is absolutely beautiful. They've taken care of it, and it had so much potential. And I just I walked in and instantly was like, yep. This is me. So in March of last year, we opened the location at 21 South Indiana Street, and then we've been there ever since. And last year, we really did a little bit of expansion, doing a lot of vendor events. We did like Mansfield. That was definitely something different I've never experienced. It was a 10-day event, and it's like a week prep and a week de-prep. Like, it was crazy.
So I want to stop you there because while most people listening to this will probably be regionally related to us, for those who maybe like me and not grown up here and first found out about Covered Bridge Festival, like look into the camera and tell people what like Covered Bridge at Mansfield is and why they should make the trek to Indiana. Like, I think it's important because some people just like don't know. Even my family in Chicago didn't know, and they came down like, this is incredible. So just make a sale for that.
Mansfield is kind of like an unspoken amazing adventure if you go. I remember like being young with my mom, that was something that we did every year. She took off work, it was something special, you know, her and I did. If you love to shop, that is the place to go. There's tons of vendors. There's like below the bridge, and then there's up on the hill. Up on the hill has really kind of started to grow a lot. That's where I was last year. And it is really, really cool. It's a great experience. It's beautiful out there too. Now I will tell you, like weekends, it's normally packed. So there's a lot of people. So if you don't like people, go during the week. But there's so much handcrafted stuff. There is a lot of variety of stuff. I think there was a handful of boutiques, but it was so cool because everything's kind of different. It's not like the same stuff over and over. But yeah, if you have never been to the Covered Bridge Festival, you definitely need to check it out. They have some really great information on Facebook. I know they have a Facebook page. The drive out there, I think, is like one of the best parts for me because it was like the calm before the storm. So it's like you're driving on the, because I always go West Walnut, the back way. And at fall time, the trees are beautiful, the leaves are beautiful. And it's
in
just
October normally, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like very serene, and it was kind of like you decompressed on the way there and the way home, because you know, whenever I was there, it was kind of crazy. But yeah, Mansfield is such a fun time. If you've never been, I would definitely recommend. You have to at least go once.
Yeah.
So there's Mansfield Covered Bridge, and then what's the other one?
Oh, I don't even know.
Rockville does a lot of
Rockville
things
does,
too.
Mansfield, Bridgeton.
Bridgeton's another one that's kind of like up and coming. They have a lot of cool stuff there too.
Yeah.
But they're really like, they have more food options.
Yeah. I like the food.
Me too. But that's where I'm like, you could definitely make like a weekend thing out of it, or go to Mansfield half the day, Bridgeton half the day.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, but it's a great way of supporting those small businesses, because that's what most of those booth spaces are.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to just go, and these people travel from like all over.
All over.
I didn't realize. I mean, one of the food trucks was from like Wyoming or something, and I'm like, that's you just don't hear about that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Mansfield was really cool.
Absolutely. So people will be watching this, and they'll look for you in October when they come to Covered Bridge if they're not from the area.
We'll be up on the hill. There's a little food court up there. So a lot of times, like down at the bottom, that food court gets packed. Go up the hill. There's a whole little food court area. There's seating and everything. It kind of got lost last year. There wasn't a lot of signage.
Right.
They're going to try and do more signage and stuff this year to know. But yeah, we're up on the hill. They're shaking it to the moon and back. Is another boutique that's up there. She's actually the one that got me in connection with being there. She's from Rockville, well, Raccoon Lake. Yep. And she kind of is the same way. She started up, and she has a building at her property. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I think the best part of vendor events is like, you know, getting to meet all the new people and getting to see all the vendors. I've made so many friends from other businesses by just being at events and supporting them. And so it's really cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, you were talking about something when I cut you off. I don't remember what it was, though. Do you remember your train of thought? Expansion, yes. Okay, great.
Mansfield was part of our expansion.
Yes.
And then we also went to a location. I am a vendor in a Crawfordsville location, shop small, shop handmade. Jessica down there, I think she has like 35 plus vendors.
I went and saw her last week, but I had forgotten her name, and for some reason thought it was Samantha. And I said, "Are you Samantha?" And she said, "No." I said, "Well, do you own this?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, I'm supposed to say hi to you." But she was super cool.
Yeah,
really
just because she is amazing. And she's another one that she does all kinds of stuff herself, but she is like so supportive of other small businesses, and she really wants to see people succeed, and she has such cute stuff in there.
She does. And you have a lot of stuff in there.
Yes.
I didn't realize it.
So I'm in like a partial room right now. I'll have that whole room.
Okay.
The one lady that I shared the room with, she's moving to Utah.
Okay.
So she was going to college and stuff, so she's moving, so that whole room will be me.
That's awesome. We saw you have this like bluey toddler sweater, and we looked at it. We're like, all right, we don't need it right now, but maybe we'll come back up here. Well, then we were in your shop doing the stuff of Buddy, which I'm excited for you to talk about later, and we saw it in your real shop, and I was like, oh shoot, now we don't have to go to Crawfordsville when we're ready to buy it. So like, we're gonna buy one of those here soon. We
try to like keep everything in Greencastle, of course, is our main location. But I love taking stuff to Jess. And it's really cool too, because it's crazy how different the like things that sell in Greencastle versus things that sell in Crawfordsville. But yeah, I like being down there. Jess is easy to work with. Yeah. She's really, and Crawfordsville has treated me very well. Yeah. We did Strawberry Fest there last year. Have you ever been to that?
Yes, I accidentally went once.
It is really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I went to it when we were little because we kind of grew up in Crawfordsville too. And I remember going as a little kid, and I don't really remember much. I just remember that was like super cool that we got to go. And so being there was kind of just, last year was a very like surreal moment. I felt like a lot of things that me and my mom went to, we were setting up, and like, especially with, the businesses kind of like I do it for my mom too. So it was really cool. It's kind of full circle, but
I have a tendency of going on tangents, but I think this is a good opportunity. When your mom had a shop, how old were you?
I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you have an opportunity to like be there often? Or I'm sure you were working and getting your life happening, but
I was working, but I would just go and hang out with my mom because that's how cool I was. No, my mom did, it was kind of like just dry cleaning and stuff like that, and I hate laundry, so I didn't do too much on that part, but I would just go and hang out, and just seeing my mom interact with people, and like the girls at Starbucks, she would go over there, they would already have her coffee made when she walked in the door. Like, they knew her. My mom loved them. My mom would always take them treats and stuff over. And
I know your mom. I didn't realize. I think she was a client even.
Quita?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny because my mom's name is so uncommon.
When you said dry cleaner and then Starbucks, I'm like, it has to be the same time frame. Yeah.
That's
she was my dry cleaner, because she also had a shop somewhere else, right? Or maybe not. But the dry cleaning was done somewhere else. Right?
She did most of it at the shop, but she did some of the stuff, like she would have to take it and go and have it done sometimes. Like, it just depends.
Maybe my suits, maybe that was it.
She did tux rental and stuff too. And then she had some wedding dresses and stuff in there.
Yeah.
That's what I would have loved to have, that spot, but it's kind of like a new chapter, but in the same location, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, my mom, a lot of people, she touched a lot of people. She was sick. She had cancer when she was running that the whole time.
Really?
Yeah, she did it for a couple years.
Wow.
She did a lot with DePaul too. Like a lot of the college kids when they would come in. My mom was just, she was great with customer service, and she was working full time when she was doing that too. Yeah.
That's wild.
I think that's where I get my work ethic from. Just, she has always been a hustler. Like, she always made things happen, and she worked hard.
Yeah.
So.
That's incredible. Yeah, she was the dry cleaner I trusted.
Yeah.
When she went away, it took me a while to find one.
She did a lot of like the courthouse stuff, all the judges stuff. Yeah. She came pretty close with a lot of people, and that's where I think like the community aspect for me, that's where I really want to dig kind of into, because if you're not in the community, like I was always on the outside kind of looking in, like I would go to events and stuff like that. But I think being part of the community is so important, especially like after COVID. You just really start to appreciate small businesses a lot more.
Absolutely. Speaking of work ethic, you said earlier, like you didn't want to work in another job, but you're working so hard here. I don't know the exact quote, but I saw this quote years ago, and it's basically like, entrepreneurs are the only people who refuse to work 40 hours a week for someone else, but instead will work 100 hours a week for themselves. And it's so true. Like, so
absolutely.
True. If I'm working for someone else, I'm not checking my email at 8 a.m. Get out of here. What are you talking about? But now I'm checking emails at midnight sometimes, working for myself.
And that's where I think, like, for me, it really clicked. Like, I work, a lot of hours, and I don't collect a paycheck. So for me, I'm just like, I was always about like, I got to go to work to get a check. I got to go to work to get a check. So your mindset changes too when you're working for yourself. So it's one of those things where it's like, People don't understand it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, there's been many times where it's like, it's been hard and it's been like, I just don't want to do this anymore. Like, I can't. I'm exhausted. And then I go to sleep and get back up and I'm like, yep, got to go to work today. Because you have to depend on yourself.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, I always feel like if I quit, I'm going to let my mom down. So that's been something real important to me. And my daughter's kind of, Danica's 15 and I'm like trying to get her to slowly like come into the role. And I'm like, hey, you're like getting old enough to work.
Yeah.
Kind of doing the family thing. And she's like, no, I'm good. I'll try on stuff, tell you how it fits, and then I'll keep the stuff and then I'm good. So
fair enough.
I'm trying to reel her in.
Keep working on it. The state is working on reducing some restrictions on 14-year-olds and up working.
Oh,
so,
nice.
So when she does choose to work, she can work like longer hours now.
Yeah.
Probably. I almost feel like this is a setup because it's so perfectly aligned with like what I am passionate about, and I had no idea. But what really stands out to me is how you grew into your business. One thing I really struggle with right now is I don't think there's a lot of opportunities for businesses to get started and like try being a business, especially if you need a storefront. And like your story of like in the kitchen, then in the bathroom, then in a barn, then in a bigger barn. Like, I wish we had more opportunities for entrepreneurs to do that, because I imagine, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but if you had one option of your living room and then jumping straight to your current storefront, like, do you think that would have been an easy transition?
I think I would have set myself up for failure.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the 2 years that and especially during COVID, it was hard.
Yeah.
But those 2 years, I learned a lot about myself and like what I could do and what I could push myself to do. But I think a lot of times, and I've seen a lot of people come and go. Yeah. People start at their house. People don't understand how much work it is.
Yeah.
It's, you have to have the room for inventory. You have to buy smart. You have to do all of these things. You have to educate yourself. I'm kind of like a one-man show. So it's kind of hard for me sometimes. Like, I mean, I have an accountant, but like I do all my bookkeeping through the year. I do all of this stuff, and that's where we've kind of connected because I finally have gotten to a point where I'm like, I want to step back a little bit from the retail side of things and start being the business side of things. 2024, my goals this year really is to start being businessy because I've always just been focused on like customers and sales and I'm still going to do that. But I think this year, like I said earlier, I really want to get involved in the community. I'm on the Putnam County Chamber Board. I'm on the Main Street Board. So I want to be using my time useful and I want to be able to be beneficial to the community. So it's not just me being a store owner. When I'm on those boards, I'm representing other other business owners and other entrepreneurs, you know, because I do feel like the way the economy is, it's very scary right now. And I think that if I would have just jumped in, which I wanted to, I'm not going to say that it never crossed my mind, but I'm grateful for that COVID period because I think that helped me build my business. It helped me build personal relationships with my customers. And it helped also like customers realize how important small businesses are. So for me, I don't think that if you are a small business and you're wanting to do that, I would say the most important thing is to find a mentor and, make your goals. And if you want to jump right into it, that's fine. But I think people really, we're in such a time of like everything it needs to be done right now. And business can't be like that if you want to be sustainable. And money, it is expensive. Everything is expensive. So I think too that if I would have jumped in, like now shipping costs is probably twice the amount as what it used to be. Everybody's complaining about, the prices going up of stuff, but it's life. We have to adjust. It sucks, but what do you do? I still really, really push for great quality clothing and stuff in the store, and I still try and be the best price that it can be. And I have different price points too, which I think helps a lot. We were talking earlier about, I've went into boutiques before and we've went in and I've not been able to buy something because of my size. I don't want somebody to be able to come into my store with a group of friends or family, whatever, and not be able to afford something. So we have all different prices.
Yeah.
And we also have vendors. We have 9 different vendors in our store.
Yeah.
So it's not just my business that you're supporting, you're supporting community businesses too. So it's really nice to be able to do that and provide those. And I'm hoping like some of the vendors in my store, hopefully they can do a storefront one day if that's what they want to do. Most of them work full time too. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's definitely, I think it's all about timing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that idea of like pulling other business owners behind you, right? Like,
oh yeah.
You've created this foundation, you've worked hard, now you can help them have a little bit easier, take that stair step. You didn't say this exactly, but you said like, it sucks, adjust. And I kind of want to get that like tattooed on me as like an entrepreneur's motto, like it sucks, adjust.
Yes.
Like it's just kind of part of it. And people always talk about like the glorious sides of running a business. Or you watch Shark Tank and you're like, oh, that's what entrepreneurship is. But really it sucks, but adjust and get through it.
It does. And I think being an entrepreneur, you have to have so many coats to wear because you have to put on this front of everything's good and golden, you know. For me, I'm really transparent. People ask me, you know, hey, how things going? I am exhausted, but I'm here. You know, I'm showing up every day. I'm doing what I need to do. But I think for me too, being an entrepreneur has made me like appreciate other entrepreneurs so much more. And there's kind of a quote that I love. We were talking about the vendors and stuff, and it kind of goes in with this. It's community, not competition. There's so many boutiques out here. I mean, just in the square, we have, 3, 4. But all of us have different stuff. You can go into every single one of our boutiques and nobody carries the same thing. So it's one of those things where it's like, I wish people had more of the mindset of community, not competition. And that's where I love the people that are in my store. That's kind of their motto too. So it's not just me, like they're building interrelationships too. And like, some of my vendors are using one of my vendors that does like engraving and getting stuff for their business. So it's not just customers that they get relationships with the other vendors too.
Absolutely.
And that's really important.
So I think trying to bring it back to your story, I don't think you were done with your whole story yet. I just pulled us off in the different directions. So you have the different shops, or I guess the different locations that you're selling in. You're building out your business and bringing in other vendors. Bring us at least to the last couple weeks with your new edition that I'm really excited about. But what else is there on the journey of your creation?
So the really cool thing, we actually just a couple weeks ago, we are a vendor in a Brazil location. It's called Country
Brazil,
Girl.
Indiana, for those of you not local.
Brazil, Indiana. Country Girl's gift shop. She is just amazing. I feel like the other 2 girls that I'm at their locations, I feel like they're like my spirit animals because we all kind of are on the same track. And I tell people all the time, you surround yourself with people that you want to be like and inspire to be, and it makes you a better person.
Absolutely.
And it's been a game changer for me to just be around and be even just sitting at tables with people that you never would have sat at just makes you want to step your game up even more. So like being at these other 2 locations, I'm like, this is great. I have 2 people that I can kind of lean on that knows what I'm going through. At the same time, January is a slow month for retail, period. So like I can reach out to them and like, hey, what are you doing? So it's great that I have those kind of relationships too. The location in Brazil has square donuts, which I heard is like fantastic.
Have you not had one?
No.
So good.
I know. Every time I'm like, oh, I'm going to go up there. Then it was like a snowstorm like a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, I'm going to go up there and get one. I have a friend that lives in Brazil and she brought me one. She's like, it's not the same though. Like it's old. You need them fresh. But yeah.
They sell out like this in their storefront. It's just so fast.
Well, so the location in Brazil, they have them. And she said people are like wrapped around the buildings on Saturdays to get them. And I'm like, this is crazy. So she has like cute little spot. If you're familiar with Brazil, it's right behind the car wash, right on the main road on 40. And she does like candles and wax and stuff like that. She has a bunch of different vendors in there.
Yeah.
But my stuff is in there too. So that's part of the little expansion that we're trying to do in 2024. We also did a little more expansion in our location. So a couple weeks ago, we rolled out Britt's Buddies.
Okay. Yep. Tell them.
I should have brought one. I didn't even think about it.
I should have brought ours.
I know, I didn't think about it. So Britt's Buddies is a stuffing, plushable animals. We have a lot of variety. You can come, if you've ever been somewhere similar like that, you kind of come, we stuff the animal, the kid gets the interaction part of it. There's outfits that go with them. There's a couple different sizing. I know comparison into price, I think we're like $20 cheaper than what the closest place is. And I think the closest place is Greenwood, Castleton. So like an hour away.
Yeah.
It's something really cool that we brought for, not just for kids, but adults.
Yeah.
Like, I think the adults get more excitement out of watching the kids. And like for me, that is the best part. Yeah. I can't tell you, I maybe once or twice accidentally hit the pedal and like blew stuffing everywhere. And the kid was like, this was so planned, thought it was so cool. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's really cool. We have the machine in the store. It'll be there majority of the time besides when we're doing events. We also are going to do birthday parties. Nice. So we'll be able to do mobile. The machine is mobile, so that's nice. We can do birthday parties. We are working with North Putt Youth Softball League right now. We're going to be doing a fundraiser event for them. So we're going to be earning them some money, hopefully, to put towards their softball league. We're going to be doing that also for the Greencastle baseball and softball league when they do the opening day out at the sports park. So some really cool things.
Yeah.
If you haven't been in the shop, definitely come by. And I think that you can like make like 5 laps and you find something different every time. Yep. There's like stuff just everywhere. I say it's organized chaos. But the building itself, the machine will stay in, but when it starts getting warmer and stuff. And I'm hoping like second Saturdays when they do all of the kid-oriented stuff on the square, that we'll be able to like roll the machine out on the sidewalk and be interactive that way too. First Fridays we probably won't, just because like our side is more of like the adult side. But yeah, it'll be really fun. We're gonna start rolling out when we get our website updated and stuff. We'll be rolling out information on like how to book parties and fundraiser info.
I'm so excited.
I am too.
Yeah, when we walked around and we picked out the animal, and then I don't think we did an outfit, but as I was going through outfits, I saw the little voice recorder, which I have from a similar product. When I was a kid, I made one for my grandma and recorded my voice. And she took the recorder out and recorded her voice back on it, and I still have it. She's passed away 10 years ago.
And that's like priceless.
It's one of those things that it's just like, gotta keep this thing safe, little voice. Same exact recorder too. Like they haven't changed at all. Yeah. So when I saw one, I'm like, oh, I'll have to do one of these.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Yeah. There's a lot of little accessories that go with it. Like we have like little underwear and boxers. So for potty training, that's kind of like a cool thing to do. You said the voice recorders. We also have like, it's a stuffed animal shampoo. It's organic. Oh. So a lot of kids, my kid especially, I have one that loves stuffed animals, and there's always ice cream or something on it. So it's really nice to have that kind of option too, of like, not just throwing it in the wash. You can spot clean it. And
I didn't even see that. We might have to get some of that.
Yeah, and it's there's lavender scent too, so that's kind of good to help them sleep at night. But yes. Yeah. But it's really cool. So like, I feel like our price points are great with that. Great, We've had great feedback. The weather's been kind of cold. Like when we rolled it out, it was a little slow just because it was like in the midst of that ice storm. Yeah. But it has been so cool, and it like pulls my heartstrings when the kids are so excited.
Absolutely. I don't know if you've seen any benefit from it, but I know I made that video, and that same day a friend from Crawfordsville texted and was like, we've got to come down and do that. And then when we were making ours as a family, there's another family in there who mentioned like, oh, you're making another one, Vince? So I'm like, oh great, people saw this, like hopefully people will come in and start using it more. So such a great product. Like, it's so cool.
Our goal is hopefully that this does so well that we get a second unit, and then that'll be in the store all the time, and then the second unit will just be mobile. And we have a small trailer that we kind of outgrew in the beginning, so we want to turn that into like an actual like mobile unit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I bet it covered bridge. It would be a huge hit.
I am so excited, and like we do some really cool events in Danville on their square.
Oh yeah.
I love some of the events that we do down there. Their square is beautiful too, and it's like it's spacious and nice, and it's always really well marketed, and there's always good turnout. So I'm really excited to see those kind of events and see how much it not just like helps the store, but like to give back in the community, so people don't have to drive so far, and really try and like, hey, you know, maybe if they're coming in as a family to do that, then maybe they'll go eat somewhere. So it's not just going to help my business. Hopefully it's going to help some restaurants and stuff around us too.
Yeah. I almost want to like the farmer's market too.
Yes. I was talking to Maddie about that. So that's one thing that we're going to kind of look into. We have to look and see if we've technically followed the guidelines. But yeah, I think it's going to be so cool this summer.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to kind of see. We've got a couple projects too that I want to, I guess I can kind of talk about them a little bit, but like, so a lot of times police officers carry stuffed animals in their car. So my thought process is a great way for marketing other small businesses is they purchase the animal, we do a personalized logo t-shirt, we go donate them to the police department, and then those are the animals that get handed out. And then it's marketing for those businesses too. But it's also a way of those businesses giving back to the community. So we've had some really great feedback. We've had quite a few businesses that have ordered some personalized logoed shirts. The main goal for the teddy bear machine is at the end of the year, I want to be able to give I don't know how we're going to do it yet. We're going to kind of do it as like a fundraiser. Businesses can sponsor. If you want to just purchase one as a person to donate, I would like to be able to give every single kid on the giving tree a voucher to come in and experience it. So I think that would just be, for me, that would be like the ultimate give back.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times it's great that the parents get help and can, get presents, but the whole experience of them being able to bring their kid in and the kid don't know where it's coming from. You know what I mean? So that kind of will help the parents too. But I think it's just a really cool overall experience and just making them feel special.
Absolutely.
So that's like my big, we're going to really start trying to figure out how we're going to manage that. But I'm so excited. That's like one thing that
whatever I can do to help, count me in as a sponsor. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
We've gotten really great feedback. I know Isaiah House does a lot of animals and stuff too. So I'm trying to make some connections where I can, I just want to pour into our community. I think it's so important. And I feel like just this last year being on the chamber board and seeing how much it really does affect the community and just like knowing things that are coming and going and things. So for me, this is kind of where I was talking earlier, how I want to be more business, kind of step back a little bit. This is what I really want to do.
Really work on the business instead of just always working in the business.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big step.
It is. And I'm kind of a control freak, so it's hard for me to like relinquish a little, but I'm trying to get things in order where I can do that and it'll be easier and more comfortable. But I know like at the end of the day, like me giving back is something that I want to do. Growing up, that was something kind of like we always kind of struggled financially. My mom always worked really hard, but you know, she was a single mom for a long time and with 3 kids. So my grandparents helped a lot. So for me, like I remember plenty of times when, you know, we had police at our house and those were the things that I remember is like getting a stuffed animal to calm me down and things like that. Our house burnt down when I was little too. And the firefighters had stuffed animals in their fire trucks. So that's something for me, like it's full circle. You know, we talk about, for me, it's just like last year and this year I think is going to be very much those kind of things. So
absolutely. And I found when people focus on giving back, like you'll get back. The business will grow, you'll flourish. it's like the way universe works. Like it
and
really
it
works.
makes you feel so good. Like, and it's like, I guess I don't go at an angle of like, oh, I'm going to do this so that
Right.
everyone just comes and shops with me. But
Right.
I think for me, like, the way it just makes my heart feel is something that like is unexplainable. And to be able to have my kids see that and participate in that. We did some stuff where we donated food and stuff and donated to the police officers, and my oldest son Paxton, that was like, he thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And then my youngest son, we went to the fire station and did like snacks and stuff and dropped him off, and it was just like he talked about that forever. And then he'll be like, you remember that one time? And I'm like, that was so long ago. But yes, I do, you know.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where I'm like, I think, you know, we lead by example.
Absolutely.
And for me, I really want to be a great example for my kids and community.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So I feel like we could sit here and talk all day.
Oh, I know. Sorry.
No, you're good. I wish we could. I think we'll have to do this again.
Yeah.
But I want to. So I didn't warn you about any of these. You have no time to prep. So I fully understand if you need a moment to like breathe and figure out the answer. But I want to ask you a series of like kind of challenging questions.
Okay.
That I'm sure you think of some of these often, but maybe not all of them. But we'll start with an easier one.
Okay.
What's something encouraging you could tell someone who's starting a business? Like maybe some advice or something encouraging, motivational. What would you say?
I would say don't be afraid. Even if it's a baby step, even if it's just researching or Googling or, you know, Pinterest board. Start somewhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what your age is. And I think the biggest thing is go for your dreams. Go for your goals. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your life. So do what you want to do. And I think you hear people say this all the time. If you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Now, I work a lot, but I enjoy what I do and I love what I do. So it does make it a lot easier.
Absolutely.
And I would say too, don't be afraid to ask for help. I was really scared in the beginning to ask for help, and I don't know why. Mentor, like finding a mentor, mentorship, anything like that, even if it's just, might not even be somebody in your field, but just somebody to like, hey, you know, talk to and to be able to bounce ideas off of, I think is the biggest thing for, I would say, encouraging, like make sure you have good people in your corner.
Absolutely. Okay. And now you kind of answered this, but I'll ask a different question and maybe you have a different answer, and if not, that's fine. But if you could give one piece of advice, like a tip that helps you or something you do that maybe you think is unique or helps you focus or get work done, what would that be?
Oh, this one's a hard one because I would say one tip, business tip, would be don't think you can do it all.
Yeah.
That is me. I have finally, after, I don't know, a few years, realized that when you pour so much of yourself, you don't have anything left at the end of the day. It's not beneficial.
Yeah.
So that for me, I think would be the best tip I could give anybody.
Yeah.
If you find something that you can relinquish, that you don't like doing, and do it.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
Now the hard ones. One thing you wish you knew before getting started.
How exhausted I was going to be.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
No, I think I wish I would have known. I wish I would have done more research. I wish I would have been a little more knowledgeable. I wish I would have connected with ISBDC sooner.
Shout out ISBDC.
Yes.
We love you guys.
Yes. I think like asking for help. I think there's certain times where I was like super burnout, and I think that if I would have known how to handle it, or I would have known like, hey, there's people that can help take things off of your plate, I think that I could have even been further than what I am now.
Yeah.
So.
I love that. Okay. Now I think this is the hardest one.
Okay.
But I think this one's really important. Sometimes I meet entrepreneurs who, even though they're in the thick of it, myself included, let me be honest, I'm in the thick of it, but I'm oblivious to something. and like I just don't want to hear it, but I need someone to tell me it. What's something you don't think most entrepreneurs want to hear, but someone has to tell them?
Suck it up.
Yeah.
I hate saying that because I'm one that sometimes I'm like, oh. But I think knowing that times are going to be great and there's going to be really crappy times. Suck it up, push through, never, ever, ever give up.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen a lot of businesses come and they start off so strong and then they're like, I'm so tired. I can't do it anymore. And I'm like, you fought this whole time to just, and people do it for many different reasons, but I think a lot of it, like I said, is just suck it up. It sucks sometimes, but when you're on those really high highs, you have to remember that. And you have to remember there's always going to be lows. So, Yeah,
I think there's a Mark Cuban quote, and I'm going to misquote it because I haven't read it in like 10 years, but something along the lines of entrepreneurs will work for 5 years like no one else is willing to work to live the rest of their lives like no one else can ever live. And I don't know what the time frames are exactly, but it's something I always think about, like, I'm putting in this work. The work I did 5 years ago, it's way harder than the work I'm doing now, and I hope that in 5 more years the work continues to shift. And I think like a lot of people can't get through that initial stage of just hustle and grind and enjoy the fruits of their labor. And to be honest, sometimes I still look like, when is my the real fruits come? Like, I'm still working kind of hard. But I think a lot of people can't get through the suck it up to get to the actual enjoyment phase where you can hire people and have an income that's a little more passive and grow the business or try new things. I think people oftentimes have to get through that suck, and it can be really hard.
I don't think everyone's built to be an entrepreneur.
Oh, no.
I think that you have to have very, very thick skin, and I think that you have to have a very hard work ethic. There's been a lot of people that I'm like, and I feel like too, you instantly know. Like, the people that are like, they're going to be on the bottom and they're going to be climbing as hard as they can to get out. And then there's some people that are like, oh, it's a rough patch, I'm out. So I think with just any kind of thing that you do, even life, even taking it out of like being an entrepreneur, life is hard. So then you add business on top of life. If you have kids, if you have a spouse, like there's many times where Jake's like, you seriously are still at work and it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, sorry, I lost track of time. Like, I'm focused. So I think for me, it's like just kind of knowing when to put in the work and when to sacrifice a little bit. One thing too that might be able to help people, I have a really good friend, Aaron Albers, told me, you need to do a priority list, do a to-do list. And this is one thing that I hated to hear because I'm like, I have 15 to-do lists. And he's like, no, one list, you split it in half. This has to be done. This can wait. And for me, I'm like, so easy. I know this stuff. And I started doing it. It's working, but it is hard.
There's a book called Getting Things Done that's a very simplified way of what the book would tell you, but it's a really cool book. And it's basically, if you can do it, get it done. If you can't, prioritize it. And the book goes on and more, but I think you'd really enjoy it.
I will definitely have to check that out.
I think you'd like it.
That's where I think like this year, my mindset is a little bit different than I'm just like, I just need to push through. I just need a couple more months and then I can kind of do this and do that. And so I'm really excited about 2024, to be honest. And I think that this is going to be, I think we're going to see a lot of businesses growing. Just from like kind of my feeling and just being around some of the other businesses, and people are stepping out. Lost Hollow is now doing coffee and breakfast. Just so many awesome things in our community that are continuing to grow. And like, I hope that people are seeing like these businesses are making sacrifices and doing these things and kind of making all these new branches. Because we want to be here.
Absolutely.
We want to pour into the community. We want, we want to be here for people.
100%.
So I think it's just, I think this year is just going to be awesome.
I agree. Well, as we close out, I want to give you an opportunity if there's any anyone you want to mention, thank, mentors, whatever it is. This is your chance, and we can tag them when this goes live. But
Yeah.
other businesses, whoever, just go for it.
I definitely want to thank Madison. She is the Putnam County Chamber. She kind of pushed me to be on the board when I really was hesitant, because I was like, no, I just have so much work already. Like, how am I going to do this? Being around her makes me feel so amazing. She is the most supportive. She is like, she's trying to run the chamber. Plus, she does a lot with Lost Hollow. She's planning a wedding. She just got done with the annual dinner. But I literally,
new dog.
Yeah, and they have the new dog, and they're moving.
Yep.
So, but I know I can literally right now grab my phone and text her and say, hey, can you help me real quick? She'll say either give me 5 minutes or let's schedule a time. Yeah. She is an amazing person. I really appreciate her just genuineness, and she wants to see everyone succeed. And I think that if you are not part of the chamber, like, I'm going to do a little punchline here, right here. If you're not part of the chamber, I definitely encourage
100%.
businesses. It is a fee that you have to pay to join, but
it's a nominal fee.
Yeah, I'm like, it's for me, it comes back tenfold. Yeah. Like, every year, I've met so many incredible people. Lori, who's also on the chamber, she's kind of like, I don't think she knows that she's kind of like my look up to, but she's like, I love her because she's just so strong-willed. And I'm trying to think, I know there's like so many other people. There really is. ISBDC, like, they've helped me tremendously. If you don't know what that is, contact me. I can get you connected. I feel like I'm like, right now, I'm like, hey, do you know my friend Dave?
I know a guy.
Dave is awesome. He has been with me for, it's been over a year. And he is so beneficial, and he is such a numbers guy, and that is not me. I'm horrible with math. Also, I think you. So I don't know. I didn't really give you a little punchline or try to sell you, but I'm really excited to work with you this year. I am relinquishing a little bit on my plate to you. I'm very scared. I'm not scared because of you. It's just, it's hard when you're so used to doing everything, So I'm really excited to be working with you and your company, and hopefully getting a little more time so that I can do more community things. And I know that there's so many people that I'm missing. Like, you put me on the spot. I didn't think about it.
Anyone who's listening, if you haven't been mentioned, you'll get tagged in the comments.
Brooke Trissel is another one.
Absolutely.
She allowed me, she asked me to partner with her last year for the breast cancer event. My grandmother had breast cancer, went through Putnam County for her treatment and stuff. So that was another full circle, So there's so many people in this community that's willing to help. It's just one of those things where it's like, it is simply amazing, but you have to get those connections.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think that the chamber did for me.
Yeah.
Russell's another one. He's done a lot, just trying to help me. Like, hey, what do you need from me all the time? Just being supportive and being a great Main Street director. So I'm super excited about this year. I'm excited. 2024, it started off a little rough. I had this weather. I'm over it. It's beautiful today. So hopefully people will get out, walk around, enjoy the sunshine, get downtown.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everything's open today. So
get down there. It's warm too. It'll be 50.
Yeah, we walked, so it was nice.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time today. We're going to do this again. I don't know when.
Yay.
Maybe we'll do like a Q2 check-in, see how things are going.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate your time today.
Hey, I appreciate you asking me to be on. It was awesome.
I agree.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.